Well, instance of operator, I'll show it from our code in which we use instance of operator to check whether an instance, an object that we created, does it belong to one or does it belong to a class? But in that one, like when I say, for instance, I create here a book object here, book B object, and then I can say, okay, is B inst of book? As you can see that like I'm putting here the class name so that it will either return true or false. I can also say B instance of product, like that's also valid. I'm checking, okay, is this a product or not? Like, is there any a relationship between them? So when why product is allowed? Well, when I go to the book, it's book extends product. So this is also how I can do it. But when I'm trying to do this, B instance of smartwatch, I'm getting an error. So this is why is that? Well, basically, what is a smartwatch? Smartwatch, yeah, extends product, but it doesn't have a direct relationship between the book object. So the compiler immediately knows it, and then it's giving me that error that I cannot use it in this way.
So why doesn't it give false? Why there is an error? Why does it return false?
That's a perfect question. Let me.
Because now we can't check on anything.
I think I will explain this answer in when we see the equals method, okay? All right. And then we had seen in our last lecture, we said that, okay, now since we know this instance of class operator, now we can define the real equals method. What do I mean by this is, like, equals method that takes an object as a parameter. All class inherited from the object class. So actually this is what class we should override, implement. In previously, like in the midterm question, I was asking you to implement this kind of a function which takes a book object as a parameter. But when I put this object, this is the one that is inherited from the object class. So let me ask you one thing. What is the difference between this and that one? Why is it? What is the difference? I know that they are different methods, but what makes the other one special? One of them takes as a book, the other one takes object. So why should I implement the object one? I mean, of course, I might need to implement the book one, but this is the more common way. What? Do you have an idea?
Checks for none.
Hmm?
Because it checks for none.
No. The implementation here is not correct. So I can also do it here. Like, yeah, assume that implementation is same. Like, if B is null, return false. Don't compare the implementations. Yeah, I know that it is. Like, then I can also put it like this. Yeah, this is. You can also do it in this way. The thing is, when we put an object, it means that I can put anything in that. Because every class extends the object class, which means that when I have this, okay, I'm getting an error here. I'll just turn this off. I can say b dot equals, then I can put here any object. Like I can put new smartwatch object or smartphone, whatever I have, or I can put the smartwatch, any object I can give it, so that I can use this function for all data types. But for this one, it works only for the book object, not the others. The reason is, again, now here I'm able to put a smartphone object. How is this possible? Because smartphone extends product extends object. So that's why each smartphone is also an object. So then the question is, okay, how should I implement an equals function? Well, first, again, I need to check first if it is a null or not, because otherwise, in the following cases, I will get an error. I will delete this part first. Then, okay, if it is not null, then I can check the others. Like, I need to check. Let me delete this part and then write later on again. I will update this part again. Let me fix the indentation also. Oh, yeah. Then I can then I'm sure that, okay, it's not null. Then I just need to compare their titles based on our story. Let's say that the books are same if their titles are same. But the problem is that this object can be anything. It can be a smartwatch. It can be a smartphone, an apple, a tomato. It doesn't have a title. It might not have a title. So first, I also need to check that, okay, is this object, is it a book object or not? So for that one, what I can do is, I first need to check if it's a book object. So what I would like to do is, I would like to say instance of book. Now I'm not getting this error anymore, like the one that I got here, as you see. So why do we need this instance of? Okay, so we can use it here especially because now the compiler doesn't know this object can be book or not, so it's not complaining about it. So we don't know it. It will not know it at this time, but at this point it already knows that, okay, book. It's so clear that book is B is a book. Then why are you making this so already known comparison? So there's no need to do that. But here, well, we don't know what object is, and so we are checking that, okay, is that object is an instance of a book? If so, then what will happen is, then I can say that, okay, now I know that, okay, I will, oh yeah, okay, it's already in the if statement. Then I can say, okay, since this is a book object, then it should have a title. So, and I know that it's a book object, now I can convert it to a book object first. So what I will do is, this is called casting. I will cast that to book object. What is casting? Casting means that we are telling Java that, okay, you think that this is an object in the compile time. You think that it looks like an object because we said an object. But I found that, okay, it's actually a book one. So then convert it into the book. So make it converted to the book object. Then what I can do is, why did I do it? Because at the compile time I was getting this error. If I say O the title in the compile time again, Java says, okay, what are you doing? O is an object. It doesn't have any title. But then what I found is that, okay, no, it's actually a book. So in order to shut the compiler up, we are saying that, okay, shut up, I know it, it's a book. So we are saying that, okay, treat it as a book. And then I'm saying, okay, tmp.title. Then compiler is saying that, okay, now you got me. This is tmp is a book, so it's not complaining about it. Then I can do my comparison. Of course, if it is not a book object, then we can, of course, return false. So there's no way that it can be correct. Is there any questions so far? Okay, this is one way to do it, but I will do one. I would like to show one thing. So we had also this science fiction book class that we had defined, in which also extends book. So then the question is, if I have let me delete this part and delete all these parts actually. Let me create a science fiction book.
Doesn't have any.
Oh, I see. I made a typo there. Okay. Anyway, let's continue with that typo then. Maybe science fiction book there. And maybe its title is also Uh, Same with ism. Its title is that one, right? I don't want to. Oh no, title is default. So its title is default. So that will be also default, I guess. So let's make it default also. Okay. So now what will happen? I have one book object. Its title is, just to make it super clear, I would like to put it there, which is, I will make it same. So I would like to make it here same, okay? Just to be sure that they are exactly same thing. Then what will happen if I call this through this book object b dot equals sbook. So what will be the output here? When I'm doing this, I would like to delete this because this is some more detailed one. Okay. What will be the output? So I have one book instance and one science fiction book. And then I'm calling this equals function. Do you have any guess? Educated guess? So they are different classes. One of them is a book. The other one is science fiction book. And here is the function that their title are same. So what will be our output? Is it true or false? So this is the question.
When casting the object to, when forcing it to be a book object, the arguments of this one, it will be reinitiated or will keep its value?
Oh, that's a very nice question. It keeps it. Yes, it keeps it.
If it's not initiated, it will be none, right?
Yeah, it is keeping those ones. Yes, that's a very nice question. So yeah, if we'll keep its TMP. So let's see the output. So here is the last one, which says true. So basically, it considers them as the same object. Then the question is, okay, then I'm going back to here. This part is important, please. I'm giving a very niche info here. That might be a question, okay? So otherwise, you can just check your Instagram or whatever it is. So instance, one of them is a science fiction book, but it says, okay, science fiction is an instance of book. So there's an is-there relationship. Is this how we should implement? So this is open to question. Like you can debate it. Like you might say, okay, one of them is a book, the other one is a science fiction book. So they're not same. They shouldn't be same. The other one, and some group of the people will say, okay, no, they have an inheritance relationship. Science fiction book is a book, so it should be in this way. But if you are from the other side, which means that no, they are different objects. One of them is a book, the other one is a science fiction book. I want them to be incorrect. They shouldn't be equal. Then we need to change this. I will this comment out just to show what we are doing differently, which I will make it in this way. This dot get class function, if it is equal to O dot get class. So when I do this, now I'll rerun my code again, and then I'll explain what it means. Previously, we got true. Now when I run this, now I'm getting false. So what is the difference between instance of and get class? Well, in a get class function, it checks whether they are exactly the same class or not. Like one of them is book, the other one is science fiction book. No, they are not same from get class perspective. So in order to be they're really same object, if it is book, then the other one should be also a book instance. Then their get class numbers will be same, so that we are saying, okay, both are book objects, then we can proceed. So this is if you want to implement it. So both implementations are correct again. Like it's really up to you what you want to do. Like for the equals function, if you would like to say, okay, I want to they should be same, then you should go with the get class. But if you say, okay, the inheritance relationship is also important, for me science fiction book and book are same, then instead of doing this, then you should go with this one.
So instance of checks the inheritance also.
Yes.
Class only checks the first one.
Yes, exactly. Is there any question so far?
Does instance of apply to the whole inheritance tree?
Oh yeah, that's a nice question. Yes, it is. So basically, you can translate it in this way: is object is a book. So same way it goes to is object is an object, or all the upper class is a product. That would be also fine, and so on. All right. Then I'm. Let me check if I missed anything here. By using this get class name, yeah, you can also we can also just demonstrate it by this get class function. Actually, let me print it. Oops. If you say get class, then get name, well, it actually gives you very good features about that class. But just for one get name, for instance, it returns you the book. So through the instance, if you need what is the class name of it, then you can use this get class and then get name. It actually provides much more functions that you can also search for. All right, I'm proceeding to the next slide.
Can you start the recording?
It is recording. It is recording. All right, and this is our last slide. So what is this about? This is, we have seen some of them already. Like we cannot reduce the visibility of a class, so we have already seen it. The one part is that the final class, okay. Final keyword. So we have used this final for the variables to mean that, okay, the value of a variable should not be changed, it's a constant. We can also do it for the methods, like to say that, okay, this method should not be overridden. Like why this might be the reason? Well, let's say, okay, you are running an e-commerce platform, so we are implementing this product and all the instances, and then we come and say that, okay, we need this calculate tax function. So every price, every item will have it. So we put it in this product class so that all of them inherits it, so that every book, smartphone, whatever we are selling will have access to this calculate tax function. The thing is, with the overriding, it's so easy that it allows everyone to change it. That's a nice thing. But also, it might bring some problems. Like you say that, like you are running in a company, and then you said, okay, your responsibility is to handle book class, okay? And maybe that software developer is not a very senior one, not a professional, maybe doesn't know the coding. So which means that also we are giving him access to change how to calculate tax. And if he changes that, like, then the company might be in a really big problem because he's playing with how to calculate the tax. But what we want to do is that, okay, don't touch tax. Okay, we can say it verbally, but it doesn't prevent it to, he can still do it. So we don't want to do it. We just want to say, okay, I will keep the product class with me. No one will have an access to that. So I will do all these critical implementations here. But for the book object, so, okay, you can play with it. So for those cases, then I don't want them to override. But how can I stop it? With this final keyword. So what it means is, like, in our product class, for instance, let's say we have this public void calculate tax, whatever it is. Let's say this is place is Qatar, so it returns only 0. Okay. If I keep it in this way, then a person might come and say that, okay, well, for the books, I would like to change that. Okay, so he has the ability to say that, okay, no, it will return 10, whatever it is. It can change its value. So I don't want this to happen. So what I will do is, okay, let's make this final. Okay, when I save it, note that I will get an error here. Now it became red, as you can see. Now I set that final. I'm getting an error saying that, okay, you cannot change it, you cannot override it. This is final. You are not allowed to override that. So this function is constant.